I have no idea what I'm going to say. This is the Jean Bouchard Tarot Macronique, which is French for the Masonic Tarot. This is a rare out-of-print deck, which I got right here. And it's pretty profound. I'm going to probably soon be doing a series of webinars or PowerPoint presentations on this, mainly as the technical guy in the background, while Christine Payne-Towler does the sacred geometry of this deck, which includes some artistic sketches that Jean Bouchard added to the little white book that comes with it. This is completely out of print, so it is very difficult to get one. But if you can find one, go get it, because very valuable. I won't tell you extremely why yet, but I will say that this is in the vein of French Masonic Tarot, which is very, very important. This is not your English speculative lodges, and this is something a little bit more special than that. So it comes from the Franck Society of Tarotists, and that's one of the reasons why I got it, because on it, you can't see, but on it there's Hebrew correspondences. These Hebrew correspondences are unique in the sense that they represent the French continental tarot system. They do not go back to the English variant. So that's one of the reasons why this deck is so amazing, is because it shows that as part of its superstructure. The other thing, which I haven't figured out yet, so I haven't gone through it and done all of the work necessary, but in the lower corner, there is a Masonic glyph in each one of them, which I believe is in the Pigpen cipher, which I haven't gone and looked into, but I'm pretty sure it's the Pigpen cipher. However, there's usually a code word that the letters will become decipherable with. So I don't know what the code word is. I don't know if Bouchard added it in his little white book, which I haven't read all of it yet. So that's one of the main reasons why I'm not talking about that. But the trumps are really amazing. They're very beautiful too. If you can see, I'll show you a little bit. They're very, very well done. I like this deck a lot, so I got it. And you can see right here, I got my little pyramid. I went to the flea market with my mother, and I picked this little gem up. And it may seem stupid, but it's actually not. It's a crystal pyramid shape, which is one of the reasons why I brought it out. The pyramid shape is the 3D version of the Tetractys. And that is the main reason for me playing with the tarot, the Masonic tarot, of Bouchard, and having my little tetracti right here that can represent the numerical mysteries. So I didn't really have a topic to talk about. I wanted to let the Masonic paradigm kind of unravel while we were doing the live me today. So I don't really know what's going to come out of this video. I did want to mention this deck, but I did that already. So if you have any questions, be sure to let me know what they are, because that is one of the reasons why Gnostic Tarot Cards is doing these live me videos. First, you need 5,000 subscribers to do live on YouTube, which I don't have 5,000 subscribers. So if you want to tell your friends and others that are interested in tarot, come on out, subscribe to Gnostic Tarot Cards, come on to live me, go find us on Facebook, well, not us, but me and the tradition that's being represented on Facebook, Gnostic Tarot Cards, come give a like. So that is one of the things that I wanted to let you know. And I might add some of this material to the blog. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to do that. The blog is mainly some reflections on the tarot, and it's non-lineage, so it doesn't have to do with any particular area. Since we are talking Masonic stuff, I did want to tell you about Joseph Wages' video on the Illuminati. It's on Amazon Prime right now. Go watch it. It's called Illuminated. This is one of the best Illuminati videos that is out there. You're probably not going to see anything else like that. And he is also the author of this book, Secret School of Wisdom. It's the real rituals and doctrines of the Illuminati. But amazing material. It's an introductory, so you're not going to get like this level of information, but you will get some of it. So, with that being said, in the Rituals of the Golden Dawn and the Neophyte degree, I'm not a Golden Dawner, but I do read some of these things. They say at the beginning, before they tap on the stick, I'll name all the names, but it's not important. Hekes este Bebeloi. And I found, for the first time, I never knew where this came from. For some weird reason, it was one of the passcodes in the Illuminati degree of the actual Bavarian Illuminati. Now, they say it's part of the ancient mysteries, particularly the Eleusinian mysteries, but I don't think that's true. And the reason why is because no one in the Eleusinian mystery systems ever talked. They're very little known about the Eleusinian mysteries. So the mystery schools were quite quiet. They were not blabbers. They did not run around going to tell everybody like your modern day occultists about all of the amazing things that are available in the marketplace. So that just wasn't the case. First of all, most of the mystery schools were prior to established Christianity, and there was a mystery religion that was kind of carried through those veins. So they didn't really have a lot of scribes. They didn't have a book. Their book was like the book of nature kind of thing. They used nature as their instructor or teacher. And it was a very natural religion, which you'll hear in Wages' video. They talked about the Illuminati was trying to bring about a restoration of the nature religion. Very powerful stuff. It was for me anyway. And I've been taught by Wages, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 hours of instruction he's given me on a lot of the Masonic. He's also a Blue Friar Mason, which is one of the highest Masonic scholars that you can be in Freemasonry. He's president or on the board of the Grand College of Rites. So if you're on that, lucky you, because you'll be able to go and get volume 21 of the Collectania and be able to see the full rituals written by Arturo de Hoyos of the strict rite of observance, the rite of strict observance. Lucky you. If you have it, send it to me. I'll send you money, and I'll give you extra money for it, because I really want that. I had no idea I was going to be talking about this. But the reason why I'm talking about this is you'll see in the video, if you go watch it, Amazon Prime, free marketing for you, Wages. If you go and look at that on Amazon Prime, you're going to find out that a lot of what Weishaupt was doing was partly grafting on to the current Masonic structure in the 18th century, 1760s or whatever, of the German Masonic vein, which was the rite of strict observance. So if you're able to go see that in Collectania, like I said, I'll give you money. So shoot me an email, freightercml@gmail.com, and I will definitely throw you some ducats for that book. But you probably don't. No one on here is a member of the Grand College of Rites. And if you are, hit me up. I'll totally buy you and me a copy of Collectania number 21. That's not a 21 Pilots, but you know, all my friends are heathens, so now are you. That's some of the modern stuff. Nobody really cares about that, but I do. I think the Heathens song is pretty cool. But my point is the Illuminati degrees came from mainly the inner workings of the rite of strict observance, which you'll now see on Prime. So it's not me throwing something out there that is not verifiable. Baron von Koenige was a instrumental, like, ritualist in the work of the Illuminati, which you'll be able to see. And if you want to go to Lewis Masonic, you can go buy this book, The Secret School of Wisdom by Joseph Wages. Super important. I won't go through all of this book, but a lot of overview is given. On that movie, which you can see on Amazon Prime. I don't know if you can see up here, right around there. There's a nice little blue owl, the owl of Minerva. You know, so if you guys are familiar with this stuff, I throw these things out there all the time for those who can hear the dog whistle. As Christine tells me, these terms are dog whistle terms, and if the right ear hears them, it'll link an association to what's being talked about. So, and as a Masonic and occult and Rosicrucian and pretty much any kind of esotericism researcher, I'm pretty familiar with a lot of those terms. So there's hardly any terms that you'll be able to throw out that I won't know about, or at least be able to reference in somebody else's stuff. Pretty cool beans about that. It wasn't about a toot my horn about my Masonic friends, but go watch that movie. I promise you, if you're an Amazon Prime member, and I'm not paid by Amazon, there's no money or anything by this, go watch it, because this is the first look into the real Illuminati and not the fake one of the lizard people that are coming out to get you, or the crazy crap that you'll hear on the internet about some reptilian creatures that are out there in space coming down, you know, and messing with us. This is crap. But what Wages says is very real, and it's very researched. I remember, I think it was 2002 or 3, when I first saw on Google Books that the Google had done a archive of the books of the Illuminati in German. And when I saw these, I was like, holy crap. What I didn't know, this is all important, what I didn't know is in about a decade and a half later, Wages was actually the person that got all of the Illuminati stuff digitized and put on Google Books. So it's in German, so you won't be able to read it unless you read German. And in that case, hit me up too, because I'll give you some money for some special German books that I'd like to have translated, or at least you can do a video and read them to me. Because the entire letter correspondence has been done by the other person on this video, which is Reinhardt. I forget his first name. It is, here, let me tell you. It is Reinhard Markner is the scholar, the Illuminati scholar, that did a lot of the Illuminati letters in some German name I can't get to, but it's a Brill book, I believe, and it's actual academia. So that's a really, really good book. If you read German, go get it and translate it and then put it on a blog, and I'll come read them. But other than that, they're represented in these manuscripts as well. And the Secret School of Wisdom Wages makes reference to them. Oh shit! Now that we're talking about it, I'll just bring it up in the bibliography. It is. I had no idea I was going to talk about this. For some reason, we ended up going here. And I don't speak German. Let me see. Don't you just love me going through my books here? It's always fun for you. I don't know if there's a bibliography here. It is... Anyway, go buy this book for 20 or 30 bucks and you'll be able to know exactly what I'm talking about. It's in the footnotes, right in the beginning in the introduction. I don't have time to recall it, but it's a German title, and Reinhard Markner was the primary editor and translator, I believe. I think it's called like K1 or something, and it's a long-ass German name. I can't find it. But, so he talks about that. So yeah, he's a Masonic scholar. The other thing is I was also working recently with Piers Vaughn, and he has some information about capitular masonry of the York Rite stuff. So go find that out too. I highly challenge you to go look at that. There's a reason why I'm bringing all that up. It's not just like random stuff that nobody cares about. Really, what the Illuminati was a super rationalist group that was sharing a way of understanding the world and the geopolitical landscape of where they were in Germany in the 17th century. It wasn't like, geopolitical like we see geopolitical. They weren't aware of many other distant lands, but they were aware of America, which you'll see on the video. And actually, America wasn't established based on the Illuminati principles. It's the other way around. The Illuminati wanted to make a colony in America. So awesome video, documentary. And in the video, you'll see actual presentations of the rites of the Illuminati done by Masons, and it's pretty cool stuff. So I don't know why we're talking about that. Anyway, Bouchard Tarot, French Masonry, not German. There's all kinds of stuff in there. I mean, I could go on branches of each and every one of the things that was said, but that would bore people mainly. And I don't know if I want to go there. For instance, they were not so into spiritual traditions. They were more into rationalism. So they were competing with the GURC, the Golden Rosenkreuz school of Rosicrucianism. So that was important because the GURC picked up some information and stuff. Well, not information and stuff. The GURC was part of that vein of the Illuminati and teaching. So, yeah, you'll see it on the Prime Video. Illuminated. Pow! So, that was one of the things that happened recently. Along with my nice little pyramid jewel here. I don't have many toys to show or share, but that was part of it. So yeah, Illuminati. On that vein, I have a really good book here. It's a translation of the German book of the Mizraim material that Rudolf Steiner worked on. This is Collected Works of Steiner, number 265, and these are his Masonic lectures. This book is like 500 pages, I think. Yeah, it's 500 and so pages. So I can't possibly give you a summary of all this. Plus, if you see here, right there, I haven't read all of it. I use it for reference. I know where to find stuff in it. It's pretty important. This right here is my whole Steiner shelf. You see right there? That's my Steiner shelf. And a lot of the material is by, I don't know if we've talked about this, it's by Prokofiev, who was actually the Russian composer Prokofiev's son or grandson. So Prokofiev was a anthroposophist. That's the name of Rudolf Steiner's branch of theosophy that went off into the land of, we're going to practice this hidden Rosicrucianism. And so anthroposophy, for the word anthropos, which is man, and sophism, which is wisdom, anthroposophists were gathering around the 18th century, and Steiner lectured like crazy. I mean, Steiner was constantly talking, so I like him. He's a talker. But Steiner, he shared a lot of this Golden Rosenkreuz kind of system because it's now been proven by a friend of mine, Sam Robinson, out in the Rosicrucian tradition, that Steiner was in fact not only linked into the Theosophy vein, but he was linked into the Rosicrucian vein around the same time that some of the best Rosicrucianism hit the planet, that of Max Heinendel, and there's other names, but I'm not going to just blurt them out. But yeah, the Cosmo, Rosicrucio, Cosmo Creation, I think it's called. There's a book by Heinendel and the Rosicrucian Fellowship. Really good stuff. Now, there's a recent book by Milko Bogiard, I think his last name is, who did some history on the AMWORK, the Rosicrucian Fellowship in San Jose, California. Now, I haven't read that. I don't know about that, and I don't know if AMWORK is Rosicrucianism. If that's your idea, then great. I have some friends that say that AMWORK is one of the highly psychic forms of training that there is. I don't know, not for me to say, but he believes that, so I want to throw that out there. And the reason why is because one of the main psychic programs of Rosicrucianism that I can recommend is the work of Torquem Serdarian, The Psyche and Psychism. Now, Torquem was part of the Armenian Rosicrucian vibe in Armenia before the genocide, the Armenian genocide in the early, I think it was 1900s, 1930s. But there was an Armenian genocide that Torquem Serdarian and his father were very connected to. Torquem, he carried through a lot of Rosicrucian teachings in his school, which is just the Aquarian Institute. It's not anything that, well known. But what Torquem did, and this is the reason why I'm bringing it up, because we're talking Illuminati and all these creepy things, Torquem synthesized Blavatsky, Roerich, and Bailey. Now, Blavatsky, everybody knows H.P. Blavatsky. If you don't, maybe I'll talk about her one day. Although, some of the people in my inner circle want me to shut the hell up about Blavatsky, but I will not. Not until I die. So Blavatsky is one of my faves. And also Roerich, Nicholas Roerich and Helena Roerich were some translators of Blavatsky from English to Russian, believe it or not. Even though Blavatsky was Russian, her books were written in English. And the Roerichs translated it back from English to Russian. Now, the Roerichs are super important because they carry a portion of the Trans-Himalayan transmission that everyone talks about out in the Tibetan Himalayan area of these Mahatmas. And the Trans-Himalayan vibe that they carry is the Maurya vibe. And Maurya was a master of Rosicrucian Trans-Himalayan teachings, and those are part of the Roric teachings. And then you have Bailey. You have Alice Bailey, who it was said in some of her lectures that her husband was a Mason. And so a lot of what she has written is esoteric Masonry, but also is highly channeled teachings. So, I mean, the Lucis material is extremely verbal. I mean, there's a lot of writing there. I did not go and collect them. You can go get them on the internet. I have them in electronic format, but a lot of that work, Torquem Serdarian went through, and he synthesized a whole bunch of theosophical and mainly trans-Himalayan theosophical writings. So I got a whole shelf load, a couple shelves actually, of Torquem Serdarian. Highly recommend him. And it's not so much Masonic, but it is in that vibe. I mean, I could go on and on and on, but I won't. But if you're familiar with Torquem Serdarian, you'll know what a gift he was to humanity. And he was a bishop as well. Bishop Torquem Serdarian was in the line of the independent apostolic succession and was a wandering bishop. So he also taught down in Pasadena, I think it was Pasadena or LA, where Manly P. Hall's Philosophical Research Society was at. Which brings me to another point. Manly P. Hall had a tarot that he worked on, and you also had Augustus Knapp that co-authored this tarot with him. It is called the Hall-Knapp Tarot. You can see images of it online, or the New Art Tarot when it was re-released. Now, Christine told me that the Knapp Hall Tarot has a grafting onto it for English tarotists and the French Continental tarotists. So that was highly controversial, but they were definitely having that debate too. Which brings me to the reason why I'm talking about this. The English and the French have had lots and lots of crossings together. Rosicrucian and Masonic teachings, especially the high-grade Masonic teachings, have almost become one and the same until they're inseparable, basically. But those are definitely different branches of the same thing. But depending on which one you specialize in, you will get a different perspective. And that is what the Illuminati were kind of focusing on. They were looking at, where's this ultra-rationalism that we can talk about versus the Jesuit church and order of the Jesuits that were basically and hidden, taking over all state and political areas of influence and basic information control and money control and on and on and on. So that is definitely something to research. I thought you might want to hear about it. So yeah, so that was one of the reasons I wanted to talk about Bouchard's Tarot. Not about the Illuminati in depth and Rosicrucianism, however, that's how these things go. But the Bouchard Tarot goes off of the French continental system of Tarot. This is very, very important. And I know a lot of this information isn't in the open and available. So my tarot teacher, Christine Payne-Teller, has coined the term Continental Tarot. And basically what the Continental Tarot is it's the French correspondence system of alphabetical, astrological, and numerical correspondence to the Tarot and the systems of work that the tarot can be done in those groups, whether it's Masonic, Rosicrucian, whether you got a nice little occult society, whether it was some high-grade French magical societies, wink, wink, and there's lots of stuff that this system of alphabetical, astrological, numerical representation can not only be grafted into, but it can be used as a memory temple. The art of memory, which recently Charles Jameau, high-grade French Mason, has had the book translated in English, and it's available on Amazon for $10. Go buy it. If you care about these things, go buy that book on Amazon Kindle. It is really, really good. I won't give away some of the spoilers, but there's some really good points in there. So Charles Jameau talks about, and I probably said that wrong because I'm not French, so don't correct me. Charles Jameau says that that the art of memory was something that was happening in a lot of the early speculative Masonic systems, and it was stated for a reason. So I'm sure you'll enjoy that. That's one of the Kindle books that I'm working on right now, reading through the art of memory, which is awesome because he was a French high-grade Mason. So when I say high-grade, most of the French high-grade Masonic stuff is from the vein of the American Scottish Rite. It was actually, a lot of that was, known before the American Scottish Rite kind of came to play, of course. But a lot of the French high grades and a lot of the French mystery schools were interrelated. I'll say it like that. Some really good books you can get out on the marketplace is Papoose. His books on some of the high-grade French correspondences. One is the Elementary Treatise on Practical Magic, and the other is the Elementary Treatise on Occult Science. I'll be right back. I'm going to grab that real quick. And one was translated by Brother Piers Vaughn. That's this one, the Elementary Treatise on Practical Magic. This is Papous's or Gerard and Cass's book, where this is highly related to Eliphas Levi's Dogma and Ritual. It says it right in the introduction. This book is really good. However, it's very dense. So if you don't know how to read, don't read this because this is very dense. This is not a beginner book in French occultism. This is actually intended to have been part of the syllabus for some of the high-grade mystery schools in France, if you know what I'm talking about. Along with, now, I'm sorry, Brother Piers, I had to buy it, and it has nothing to do with supporting the freaking translator. Llewellyn has a book that was published by it was translated by Mark Anthony Mittook and John Michael Gear. This is the second volume, the Elementary Treatise of Occult Science. And this one is Papous's second book. Now, these two books were extremely used in French occult societies. So, I haven't had a chance to read them all. But I'll go through a table of contents on Brother Piers's volume. And you see if we're not talking about some cool stuff here. The Human Machine, Impulsive Man, The Man of Reason, then a summary. Nervous Energy, wink. Natural Sleep, Inebriation, Hypnotism and Suggestion, Insanity. Then it goes through, and he was a doctor too, so it talks about some of the occult and anatomical, physiological, and psychological constitutions. I don't know how relevant they are now, so don't use this as a textbook to try to refute Pappas as a medical practitioner. That's not what the book is about. It's not his treatise on medical. It's not an MD book. You're not going to med school with this thing. Although you may become a healer. Feeling, nutriments, creation of the instinctive being, emotional vegetarianism. That's a good one. Animal diet, use of material stimulants, alcohol, and my favorite, coffee and tea. There's some tea here. Hashish, opium, morphine. So these were in the early, I want to say, early 1900 when this book was originally written in France. You guys are so fun. I don't even do Tarot sometimes. 18 around the early 1900s, if not like the dead on 1900s, it was like 1890s. So this was one of those. Let me continue reading the table of contents for you. Very good. Where were we? We were talking about him being a medical practitioner. It talks about the archetype. Oh, there's two parts of this book, by the way. One is theory. This is super important. Theory. And the other is practice. In all mystery schools, you have the theoretical, super rational, and then you have the practical, the work that's done, that the theoretical is supposed to build up, but does not explain. Most of your hyper-rational mystery schools and occultism is built on the hyper-explainable theoretical. It is not the gnosis of the inner workings of the schools. You're not going to find that in your book. That only gets done in your work. So that's all I'll say. Because I'm super analytical, and some of my friends may come on and go, "You're a hypocrite because you're super studious and all you do is research." And yeah, but there is some practical work that needs to be done. Like, I'm not going to turn it over to the right, but I got my aromatherapy stuff going on too, a diffuser of essential oils. And believe it or not, some of that is way more important than reading voluminous books. All right. Love, stimulant for the man of will, reaction of the impulsive being. Very good. Magic mirrors, magnetism, speech, gesture, talismans, movement, love and chastity. I'm not good at that. Signs of the zodiac. Now in this, there's astrology. Really good stuff. Aspects, conjunctions, quadratures, oppositions. If you don't know your astro chart, you better go check it out, because Tarot is highly astrological. The moon and the 12 signs, other planets, sun, love, make yourself invisible, on and on and on. I mean, you have virtue of certain stones, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon. Then you got herbs, how they relate to the planets, animals that they relate to the planets, Kabbalistic astrology, and so on and on and on. You got a lot of magic stuff here. And of course, I could go and start reading, but that's not the point. That's just one book. Let me tell you what's in the next one, This is not a plug for my friends' books. This is actually a plug for the French schools of occultism, and that there's massive amounts of information to be had from just these two books alone. And they are completely consistent with the Masonic Tarot. So there's just a whole bunch here. I mean, you got all kinds of stuff. I'm not going to go into all of it. And I was taught in many French school techniques. So my particular grafting is of the Continental School and the writings of Pappas, the writings of some of the French occultists, Martinus de Pasquale, Saint Martin, people like that. So the French stuff really makes me happy. I don't know. Maybe I was a French guy in a past life or something. But this French Masonic Tarot and these French occultism books are really, really fun. So, vive la France. Vive la resistance. And that's the thing. You need to resist the marketplace, because the marketplace is not built to share with you some of the esoteric things you're learning now. The marketplace is built to keep you not in a place of esotericism. It's almost like, if you were to know yourself, you would not need to have anybody else tell you who you are through books or instruction and theory. You would have practiced and had an experience of the super celestial, of the thing we're talking about, that is so profound that you wouldn't be able to, sorry, I just got a message. You wouldn't be able to buy into the fact that somebody was going to teach you who you are. You would be able to share who you are, but you wouldn't buy into the fact that somebody is going to teach you who you are. So that's not what we're aiming at here in Gnostic Tarot cards. It's at the top of the Oracle of Delphi. All initiates had to walk past the sign that said, Noti Sauton, know thyself. Not Satan, by the way. No, Noti Sauton. It's a Greek word for know thyself. So you're not going to get to know like who you are without knowing who you are as you interact with the society of occultists and practitioners and tarotists and everything else. Because what we're developing here, there's a reason why I did this. What we're developing here is an ability, this is the Magus card, an ability to experience supersensual levels of reality. We're not here to just get a bunch of money, get a bunch of things, make sure those things don't break, and find someone to share it with. That's not the point of human existence. That is a human existence light version. If you don't want to be extremely unhappy, you can go and do those things, but that's not at all what it's about to be human. And most don't even know what we're here for as human beings. The purpose of being a human on this planet, most don't even know what that's for. I don't particularly know all of what it's for, but I know sure as hell it's not to get the biggest bank account and to run away to your friends and family with a trophy partner or some kind of ego representation of who you think you're supposed to be in the world of ego comparison. That's not what it's about. I mean, we all have egos, of course. I have an ego. As you can see, I love my books. There's a lot of I am and a lot of I'm not in my own personal psyche. But it's not who I was put on this planet to be as an I am and I'm not. I was put on the planet to finish some work that is not known to the mind at first. You got to do these spiritual practices to start and realize that there's something more than just the biggest bank accounts, the highest education, the most accomplishments, the biggest prestige. There's something way more here in humanity and life than that. The Buddhists say that we're here so we can add merit and benefit those in our human form that we can't benefit outside of human form. We're here to experience the Bodhisattva path or whatever, the Christ path, the path of the avatar, the heroic path, whatever you want to call it. We're here to help lift each other up and to help each other become comfortable enough to be able to move toward this level of spiritual information that we're discussing and that they discussed in the Illuminati. So the Illuminati wasn't here to do all of that money grubbing, control banking, have money for the rest of eternity, to establish the Fed, all this weird crap that you're going to hear. The Illuminati was here to teach a human being of their purpose. Almost like the Valentinian equation. Why am I here? From where did I come? Where am I going? And questions such as that of an existential nature. I'm not here to be like, how much money do you got? And how much money do I got? And therefore I'm better than you because I have this many dollars and you're not as good as me because you only have this many dollars. That's not the point of life at all. That is a funny lie that has been passed around for generation after generation, and it has been so elusive and so like ingrained in our culture that it seems like that's what life is for, but it's not. That's not what it's for at all. So some of this French Masonry and some of this French occultism will help to discover some of what we are here for. We're not here for just that ultra secure state of existence. And one of my favorite philosophers, Alan Watts, says that actually once we go toward these things, such as, property, prestige, material stuff, that we're bound to lose it because it's the law of reversed effort. What you try to hold on to, you lose faster than you can keep it in your hands. And he calls this a good metaphor. He calls it like trying to put a pound of water in a paper bag. You try to take a pound of water and wrap it in a paper bag, it's not going to become manageable. You can't send that in the mail. This isn't the life essence. Like Robin Williams said, rest his heart. In the Dead Poets Society, we're here to get the marrow out of life. We're here to take out the spiritual essence and experience of the 24 hours that we're given. We're not here to live out an 8-hour working to get the money that we can, to be able to build up retirements and annuities. That's all important and good. I'm not saying, don't go for that, because that's a stupid thing too. We have to have a form of security and some sense of well-being while we're doing this work. And if you're not part of a monastic society, you're going to have to do your own work on labor to get those things. But that's not our sole reason for being on the planet. That's not our sole reason for consciousness. It's very important to know. And the Tarot helps us do that. The Tarot puts us in a confrontation with the numinous or the archetype. And it says, hey, you, little man, Gnostic tarot cards, I know you've been busy from this time to this time thinking about this, but have you ever considered this? Have you ever considered the non-local reality? Have you ever looked at things non-linearly? One of my favorite movies, and she could be a fraud, but I don't know. The statement is very valid. Is what the bleak do we know? And in it, Ramtha says, have you ever looked at yourself through the eyes of someone else you have become? Oh, that's a bone-chilling statement. Have you ever looked at you through the eyes of someone else that you have become? That's one of the things that's been sitting with me for a couple 24-hour periods of time. But I hope that anybody who's interested in these things, you might not be able to go get Bouchard's Tarot. Sorry about that. I got mine on eBay. Go look for it. If you can't find one, go get it. It's well worth it. And I haven't even gone into some of the stuff that's in that deck. but which I will be the technical ground for Christine Payne-Teller when we do the review of the Bouchard Tarot, along with the sacred geometry that's in the little white book. So you can see that. Go follow me on Twitter, because I talk about this stuff all the time. But my point is if you can get into this vein of thought, if you could start to penetrate the inner sanctum of the French Masonic and Gnostic and occult schools, go ahead and do it. It will be well worth the effort. Sure, you might get a little flack from those that have been there for a while, and they may not want to let you in, but the one who desires the most, if you desire this form of knowledge, of experience, if this is something you really want to do, you're not going to be barred from getting in to wherever you're trying to go. You're not going to be held back. People will welcome you and say, you know what? Here's some information. Go do with it what you will, but here's some information that may allow you to start this path toward a new you. So don't cheat yourself out of becoming who you were meant to be. Gnostic Tarot cards, and I'm done talking. Peace out.